Minnesota. I'm your host, Alan Tracy.
I'm Rahana Power.
And today we have Lori Roovers with us. Hello, Lori.
Hello. I am so glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, welcome.
We are really excited to have you.
Yay!
And we've got so many questions for you. And since we, aren't going to steal 6 hours of your life, we'll go ahead and get started. But first, before we jump into all of our big time important questions, I've got to know the big one that we ask everyone. Lori, what is a fun, interesting, special talent or skill that you might have that others might be totally aware of? Maybe you've kept it secret this whole time and now we're making you just tell the world.
I don't think it's a secret, but I am a certified PADI scuba diver. Yes, I took the classes here in Minnesota to get certified, and then I did my open water dives down in the Caymans.
Oh, fun.
Wow.
I am telling you, it is amazing down there. Just the variety of fish. I remember just swimming out not too far, and there was a school of fish that is 2 feet long, and I can't tell you what kind of fish it is right now off the top of my head, but it was like being in The Little Mermaid. They were just swirling around me, and I thought, oh my goodness, that was the right decision to take all those classes and go through all the testing, because it's really amazing. And the stuff I've seen since then, beautiful. It's just a whole other world down there.
That would be incredible.
Yes.
Have you been to, or have you thought about going here? And if this isn't something that's like allowed, then totally ignore it. We can edit this out. But have you been to the Great Barrier Reef and scuba diving there?
I have not yet. That would be quite a plane trip. But no, I haven't been there yet. Okay. I hear that the best scuba diving in the entire world right now is in Indonesia.
Really?
Yeah. So maybe that's worth the plane ride.
Yeah,
Maybe you can do some underwater filming and such. Have you done that at all? Or?
Ooh, yes, that's on my list. So far, the GoPro has not worked out for me. I have so many pictures on the GoPro, and they just haven't surfaced. Pun intended there. Yes.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, that is really cool. I love that. Something that I think a lot of people would love to do, but don't necessarily have the guts. So that's really neat.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
That's cool. Well, we're kind of going to get into a little bit of both your film history, both behind and in front of the camera. I guess first off, Lori, what got you started in acting and how did you get involved with film?
I got started acting when I was a kid, a little kid. I did modeling. I was in every choir possible that my mom could possibly drop me off into. I did solos from the time I was a little kid, and theater and talent shows. I remember being 3 years old and watching TV, and there was an opera singer on, and I could not stop singing opera after that. And I'm classically trained in opera and, strangely enough, gospel.
Wow.
Yes, that's my undergrad, is vocal performance and music. So just every little performance I could possibly get myself into, I did. So that's how I started acting.
Wow.
And started getting lead roles in high school and college, of course, and then got agents here in Minneapolis. I had agents when I was in my teens and 20s. And then I got married and had kids, and my life ended.
Touché.
Yes.
That's the story of Lori.
Yeah. And that's the end. Wah, wah, wah. Yeah. But then one of my kids said, "Hey, Mom, do you want to be in Annie with me?" And it was a community theater near my house.
Aw.
And I thought, yeah, okay. If you want to do that, that's really fantastic. And if it takes me doing it with you, great. And so I went with her and we auditioned and we got in and we did all this rehearsing and I was really happy for her. And then we started our tech week, which meant getting on stage. And the second those lights hit me, I was awakened again and just thought to myself, this is home. This is where I belong. And it kind of snowballed from there. Doing theater in the Twin Cities and renewing my modeling again, getting agents again. And film, of course, happened then. So many films since then.
How did you make the jump from theater to film?
So here's the deal. Theater and film are related. They're distant cousins, I would say. Because if you try and take a theater actor and put them on film without any training, it could be disastrous.
Mm-hmm.
And even if they're a really good theater actor, it could still be disastrous. I sought out the help of many professionals because with theater, you're trying to reach the 700th person in the very back row.
Mm-hmm.
And everything in you is trying to fill up that stage. You can't see me, but I have my arms stretched wide right now. And you're strangely facing the front of the stage, and your makeup is bigger than life. And if you saw a theater artist up close after a show, you might be scared.
Yeah.
Because it's crazy makeup. So to take that and put it into film would be, I don't know, just not good.
Mm-hmm.
Not good. Not believable, really. That's the whole thing about film. And that's what I love about film, is that it's so real. The camera catches every little eyebrow movement you make, which I have used, by the way. Every little eye movement, it's like it's catching your thoughts. And people know when they're watching you up close what you are thinking. So if you're thinking about what your next line is, they're not going to believe you. You have to be in that moment and really relaying that real underlying thought in film.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I think I would say it took me a good year of classes and practice and being in films and a lot of critical feedback. And I'm still finding little things that I want to fix. And I've become objective in that respect. And you have to be to make improvements.
Yeah,
right.
No, absolutely. Yeah, it takes a lot of work and consistency.
Yes,
to get that down 100%.
Yeah.
What was your first film role, and when?
Well, I did on-camera things when I had agents as a teen and in 20s. I did corporate and educational things, so I did have some experience with on-camera things. But more recently, I think my first film role was with student films, and it was a learning experience for both of us. I cannot say enough about MCTC's film program. They paid their actors, or they did. Are they still
I don't know.
having a film program? I don't know. yeah, they paid their actors, and they're diligent. They're people who want to improve their film skills.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be filmmakers, and it
Yeah.
was really great working with them.
Yeah, I went to a film school there originally before they had this paid actor roles where you could, attract talent. So we had to kind of figure it out for ourselves. So it was kind of like we were before all the fancy stuff. Everything went digital, and had to learn on 16 millimeter film and how to change mags in a dark bag and things like that. But yeah, it was a learning experience. You're right. You learn to work with other people, and then, it's part of your grade, I guess. But
it is, but I feel like the students really cared about
I would hope so.
Content and about how it was made, and it's really amazing to work with students. So I would highly recommend, if someone's trying to make the jump into film, to work with students.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And we're lucky to have that. Yeah. Things like MCTC. Speaking of that, like, what roles in filmmaking most intrigue you, as far as whether besides acting maybe, but just in the filmmaking process?
Right. So I think, as you know, I have been casting recently a few films. One of them I would like to mention is making its way around the world. It's called The Burden. And that's by Alan H. Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
He has won so many awards with that film. And I feel like I had a good part in that I cast the only actor in the film. But she's amazing in this film, and I saw it. It was, you can just see a certain person fulfilling that part. It's not even a part. It's like imparting that feeling, because she doesn't have any words. I just knew she was the right look, the right feel, the right energy, and that she would work well with the director and the crew, and she'd go the extra mile to make everything work, because they really put her through the ringer in that film. They put her in some pretty awful circumstances.
Oh no.
Yeah, they did.
Oh,
they did. I kind of feel bad about that, but it made a really great film, and it's raking in awards right now. So
wow.
Casting. Oh. Yeah, casting is something that I really like to do. Locations. I like finding locations. I like finding other people for films, crew members for films. And I have been executive producer, but I don't enjoy that as much.
Why not? You're in complete controls, right?
Yeah. Yes and no. It's just,
right.
It's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot. And some of my executive producing, all they want is a check. And that's hard enough. And, that's kind of painful to write a check. But
tell me about it.
Yeah, I will tell you about my project that I'm executive producing at the end of the interview. But it's so much work putting it all together, hiring a producer, hiring a director, getting the writers, getting the scripts, getting yes. And we barely touched the surface yet. So
wow.
Yeah.
So touching back on acting, because that's where my heart is. So I always kind of like fall back to that.
Yes.
Just curious, like fun, who's your favorite actor or actress or both?
Right. As a kid, I liked male actors more, because they had better parts. Yeah. They had more exciting parts. James Bond was one of my heroes. Because he was smooth and always got away with whatever he was whatever he was doing. And I wanted to be the guy in the film. Now, of course, we have so many other options. I really like Michelle Pfeiffer. I liked her from the beginning. I think that she didn't get enough credit maybe early on when she was doing Grease 2, for instance. I loved her in that.
Loved that movie. Loved her. Yes.
I know,
yes.
right? Oh, she was really great in that film.
She was.
And of course, the fabulous Baker brothers. That was amazing. But now, of course, she took her break and had kids with the marvelous David E. Kelly, and is back at it. Murder on the Orient Express, and I just recently saw her in French Exit, which is an indie film, and I saw it on a plane, and I just was delighted by that role. I don't know if you guys have seen it or not. It's just an odd role. It's quirky, and she has this monologue toward the end that's tragic and ugly, but she's so pretty it's not ugly.
Right?
She pulls it off.
Yes, it's amazing. I also like some of the indie actors that you would never know are actors because you don't know their names. Valerie Mahaffey is in Big Sky as this really wicked mother character, but she's also in French Exit with Michelle Pfeiffer as this quirky, weird little character that's just delightful. I could only wish to be cast in a role like that. It's just amazing. But do you know her name, Valerie Mahaffey? No, you don't. But if you saw her face, if you saw her in her different shows and they're big shows, you'd be like, oh yeah, I've seen her before.
Right.
Or I just saw Jockey at the Twin Cities Film Fest, and Molly Parker is in that. She's been in 1922, the story about Stephen King's novella. And she was in, what else was she in? Goliath, Billy Bob Thornton's series.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I just appreciate actors like that are working. They're working actors and they have these amazing roles, but you would never say that's a famous actor, even though, holy cow, I would love to be in their position.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like you. I was gonna say I just looked them up, and as soon as I saw their face, I'm like, oh yeah,
yeah,
totally.
Yeah.
A lot of these shows these days have actors from old places, who've been around for decades, and then now are just being featured from Netflix or Amazon or any of the now streamers. They're pulling from that history well, and then it's just kind of
and it's working.
Yeah.
And it's working.
Yeah.
As an actor, though, what's your favorite thing about the acting process? Is it getting the role or chasing that role? Is it working on a role, or is it the ends of it? What's your favorite thing and why?
I would say none of that. I would say that once you have put in all of that really hard work, I like connecting with my scene partner, especially if you really have some sort of chemistry and you're really able to be more of your character because of your scene partner. I love that when it's like kismet happens, and you're able to just tell that story with that other person in the room with you, bringing more of it out of you or different sides of it out of you. I can't wait for that to happen. Also, I love it when everyone is quiet on set, and maybe you've taken a few takes, and the director's like, okay, let's just take one that's kind of crazy. And you do the scene, and he says or she says, cut. And everyone stays quiet for just a few seconds because they're just blown away by what they have just seen, or they see something that they didn't see before, or it just somehow affected the whole room, and everybody just stops for a few seconds and then starts again and does their job, and they're like, oh yeah, that was it. That's just like nailing it. Yeah.
The best feeling.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like a breath of like relief. Like, there it is.
There it is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Another option, another take, another way of seeing it. But holy cow, in a brand new way. And it's even better than before. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Love that. So when you're about to start like a brand new project, you're getting ready, gearing up for it, what's like the top thing that you really most look forward to, that really gets you most excited?
I like bonding with a brand new family of crazy creative people who are like me, because there aren't so many creative people in the world that you just run into them at the grocery store. And if you even do run into them in the grocery store, they're probably hiding how creative they are. Because they just want to fit into the rest of the world. Yep. But when you get to start rehearsing with new people and filming with new people, it's just so wonderful to be yourself again. As a character too, being yourself as a character, but just hanging out with them too is great. And then I love finding pieces of myself in the new character. Like, what piece of myself am I going to find in this new character? I always look forward to that, because there's a moment in time where you're like, oh, this is a piece of me that maybe I haven't explored for a while, or maybe I haven't let out for a while, or maybe I haven't let the public see. Those are kind of my favorite ones.
Yeah.
So connecting with that piece of you that is in that character.
That is the best.
Yeah.
Love that.
I guess also, what is the biggest challenge for you in making a film, either as an actor or behind the camera?
Okay, so everybody knows the answer to this. I would hope everyone has said the same thing. It's the money. Yep. It is the money, honey. Oh my goodness. Yes, we all struggle. I'm sure you've seen on any film page on Facebook or social media complaints that actors or someone doesn't get paid enough, or doesn't get paid at all, and that's because there's no money. And I'm in the same boat. I want to get paid too. It's finding that money. It's so frustrating that there's not money, because I know in other countries, Spain for one, they pay you to make these things. I have a friend who makes series in Basque, which is part of Spain. They wish they weren't, but the government pays them to make series and film and different projects, as long as they're using the Basque language. They get paid. And her graduate degree is in web series. We don't have that.
What?
Yeah, that's her
incredible.
graduate degree. I know. I think the second thing is scheduling. That is a pain in the butt.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially
Right?
if you're not paying them, right?
Right. Well, oh gosh.
Yeah.
Right. Because how do you take off work
Yeah.
if you're getting paid less than what you make at work? You can't take work off, and yeah, and all the crew members and it has to work with the location schedule, and the schedule I think is the second most frustrating part. And then I think all the unknowns that you're going to come across.
Yeah.
I try and ask as many questions as I can before, especially if I haven't worked with people before. I will say, I'll ask them a million questions to the point of maybe bugging them. I'm not really sure.
I love that.
But I'd rather know all this stuff ahead of time so I'm come fully prepared. If I don't know what I'm going to be wearing, how do I pack undergarments? Right. What bra do you wear?
Yeah.
Food, like what kind of food are you going to have on set? Because I don't want to be hungry because I can't eat the food that you're serving, or, stuff like just stuff. So many different questions. And if you don't ask any questions, that scares me more, because what are you going to be like on set then? Because, so those I think are my top three.
So yeah, Lori, 100% on those. I feel like the money is definitely the most common one, but you're so right. Scheduling, especially if those two don't line up, makes it difficult. And then
Right.
I'm with you.
You have to balance them or something.
Yeah. Every set I've been on, I've always wanted to ask a million questions, but then you're just like, how many is too many?
Right.
But at the same time, like if you don't have all of those details, you got to find out. So
right. Yes. And you try not to bug the wrong people. You just try and find out who's got the answers.
Yeah. Who's going to be like your secret weapon on set.
Yes. Yes.
And just feed you all the details. So those are the biggest challenges. What do you love most about not only filming, but filming like specifically in Minnesota?
Right. Minnesota, I would say, is amazing to film in. The people, I think, are the best. People care about each other. They care about what they do. They're good at what they do. The crew, I cannot speak enough about. Each person has their specialty, and they're just so good at it. And they don't have to really even ask that many questions, because it's a smaller community and maybe they've worked together before. And they just work as a machine, especially if you're on a set with, like I said, with people who have worked with each other before. It's a magical, well-oiled thing, really. And friendly. I haven't worked with very many people that really, I can't think of anyone who's not friendly. I don't know. Maybe I've been really lucky.
Maybe Alan.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Alan's like the friendliest.
Name names, huh,
Alan's the best.
Yes.
Totally agree.
Yeah. Super friendly people.
Conversely, have you worked or made any films outside of Minnesota?
Well, I would say not outside of the Midwest. So Wisconsin, I've had some things recently, actually, in Wisconsin. History Channel has been filming there. We did Searchlight in Wisconsin. Of course, that's a Minnesota crew, by Owen Royce. My goodness, that's going to be a good one. And I noticed that South Dakota seems to be a magnet for cowboy films, but I have not been cast in any of those yet, which is a bummer, because I grew up riding horses and shooting. I know it's a touchy subject right now, but I have a conceal and carry license, and I can shoot.
Nice.
So I know. So it's not like I want to shoot real bullets. It's just I would know on a horse how to handle a gun.
So you were prime and ready for that kind of role.
Yeah.
I could, and instead of spending hours and hours, I would have to probably do a little retraining on a horse, maybe, but I would feel comfortable doing
Do you hear
that.
that? Western films,
hear that,
Lori
Minnesota.
can do it. So
Lori can do it.
Lori's your girl.
Yes, and I do stunt driving too. I didn't mention that, but
What?
I've done a couple of stunt driving spots. I learned though not to use my own car.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I need to hear how you learned that, because those lessons always come at a very drastic price.
So I was doing a film where I was the getaway car for these girls who were trying to get from their school to home to try and save someone. I can't remember exactly the storyline, but I was the driver. I was the mom, and everybody piled in the car and we said, let's go. And we took off. It was in the winter. It was in a school parking lot, and it was icy, which is cool for stunt driving because, you can make things look slipperier and crazier than what they actually are. And they said, take out the side of the snowbank as you go out. And so I kept take after take, taking out the corner of the snowbank with the back left side of my car, and then peeling out. And eventually the corner of the snowbank was gone because I had taken it out so many times. Well, on the last take, they said, oh, well, the corner's gone. Do you mind just aiming for the middle of the snowbank? And I'm like, well, yeah, that's no problem at all. Taking out the corners, you have to concentrate a little bit.
Yeah.
Especially if you want to hit the same part of your car that you've been hitting all along. And so I aimed full blast at the middle of the snowbank. Well, it was the type of snowbank that's been in the parking lot, getting fresh snow, freezing over, getting fresh snow, freezing over. It was hard as a rock.
Oh, no.
And I hit it, full blast. And of course, got stuck in it. And the bottom of my car on the driver's side got crunched. And so $1,200 later.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes. We don't want to share that with the insurance company.
Right.
Oh no.
Yeah. They don't listen to this, so it's fine.
No. Oh my goodness. But I learned, don't use your own car.
No kidding.
Oh.
Yes. But we had a blast.
Oh.
It was so fun. And the kids had fun. Justin Bruhlman was the cameraman in the back seat of the car. He had fun, hopefully.
He's just along for the ride. Whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
How did you get into doing that? Is that just something that on a set they just said, hey, will you try this? And you were like, sure, let's drive crazy. This is great. Or did you have to do some type of training or something? How?
Well, I feel like my life has been a little bit of a training ground. I started driving vehicles when I was 7 on a farm in Iowa.
Wow.
And there were all kinds of places you could jump, motorcycles and tractors and pickups and lawnmowers, every vehicle known to man, I can probably drive, and in weird situations. So, yeah.
Interesting.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool, that could have also been your hidden talent earlier.
It could have been.
I feel like there's a few things we've gone over so far where I'm like, man, I am I need to pick it up. I can't do anything. This is impressive. Okay. So getting back to just your acting career as a whole. So you said that you had done a bunch of acting, modeling and everything, and then sort of took a break, came back to it, and have been doing it for a while now. has your acting career progressed as you maybe ever at any point expected it to, or anticipated it might?
After so much time away, I didn't expect anything. But I have been so surprised, thing after thing after thing. I think the secret is just to never say no. If someone asks you to do something and you feel uncomfortable with it, do it anyway. I just hosted an awards show. Did I ever think I would host an awards show? No, but it was really great.
Oh yeah,
super fun.
Yes, I did that for the Minnesota Web Fest, and it was a natural thing for me. I wrote my own content because I know what the filmmakers, the storytellers go through in making their series, and it just seemed really natural to do that. So that's just one example. Another example is Shop HQ. I'm on live TV. It seems like a natural progression to go from live theater to live TV. It's very similar. You were flying by the seat of your pants, but you've done it a few times before, and you get better and better at it, and it just becomes really natural. So I feel like just saying yes has progressed my career quite a lot further than I thought it would go.
Yeah,
that's exciting.
Yeah, with that, what films have also been maybe most influential or inspiring to you to do what you're doing?
I feel like The Wizard of Oz was my biggest influence.
Aww. I love that.
I know. When I was a kid, oh my goodness, you can't beat that. That affected me as a kid so much because every character in it was different. Every character in it was really well defined. And I think I just found myself in another world where you can be even more of yourself, a different version of yourself, and the black and white and the scary witch and the cool. I mean, most people are scared by the flying monkeys, but I loved them. I was like, I want to be a flying monkey, I think that awakened imagination for me.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. But then I would say films like Clue were very physical. If you watch that, I just watched that again recently. It's super physical. They're doing really physical things. And to make those things work, you really have to have good timing and talent and keep your character and your wardrobe in place and all that stuff. I love movies like that where it's challenging physically. And then French Exit, I cannot say enough about that either. It's quirky. The independent films, people out there are so talented. And again, with the money, if there was more money involved, it just would be a better world. But yeah, films like that inspire me too. Because you can just blossom as a character in those. Just go for it. Because there isn't that money to cover up anything that's missing in a character. You can just blow something up instead.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize with money comes conditions sometimes. So there is that too.
Right.
Is French Meadow, or not French Meadow, that's a restaurant. I'm hungry. It's French Exit.
Yes.
Is that the one? It's like with her and her son, right?
Yes.
Okay, I've definitely seen the trailer for that, and it looks amazing. And now I really, really, really definitely want to watch it.
Yeah, it starts out kind of it starts out kind of slowly, but it's keep with it because the setup it takes a minute, but then it has some really good moments in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm gonna have to watch that. This is exciting. So is there something that, I mean, you've done so much, you've done theater, industrial things, commercials, modeling, HQ, oh my gosh, so many things. Is there something that you haven't done yet that you really, really want to do now?
Yes. And I'm trying to make that happen. I would really like to be a series regular where you know your character and you have your story lined up that unfolds throughout the series, and your character can be one way in one episode, and then we might see a different side, a complexity to that character in the next episode, and have different characters to bounce that character off of. And I am developing one right now. And it's a long process. It's a really long process, but I get to be in it. So I hope there's a point.
That's exciting.
I know. I hope there's a point at which I can just drop the whole executive producer thing and just be my character. That's the way to go now. I don't know if you've noticed. I really have noticed, and I watch the credits at the beginning of the shows. They have executive producers, and it's Reese Witherspoon. It's it's Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson making their own. It's Billy Bob Thornton making his own. Nicole Kidman making her own series. They're making their own content because maybe it's not out there for them.
Yeah.
Which is really inspiring.
It really is.
Yeah. I've actually just noticed that recently too. I feel like everything I've watched within the last couple of weeks has been exactly like that. And just like, okay, so even like the big timers who make like all the money, they have to do that too. So it kind of makes you feel a little bit better about trying to go down that road.
Right. I know it's probably a process trying to get it through a big studio. And then they might not even cast you.
Right.
Or they might change the script so that it's something completely blah, by the time it gets to the screen. So I feel like the artists want to be artists. They want to tell real stories and complex stories and have real characters that have real issues and flaws and more well-rounded people in them.
Absolutely. What genre is if you're willing to like put out any information about
what
it?
Can you
I'm just curious as to like, are we talking like comedy or drama? Like, I'm curious.
It's a crime drama.
Ooh.
Yes. And it's called Paranormal Unit so far, anyway, unless we change the title. I'm not really sure. But it involves police, detectives, and a psychic and a ghost.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'll let you guess which one I get to play. Because the writers saw us as we have about 4 main characters that are going into this. We still need to fill out the cast, but and this is where they saw us, and they said, we're going to write this for you. We're going to write this for you. And Lori, we're going to put you as the ghost.
Love it.
I was thinking it was psychic or ghost. I was
love that.
Ghost. Yeah. I know. Yeah, I did start out as the psychic actually, and then we changed it around.
Aha.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's my spidey senses.
Exciting.
I know, because I do love a good quirky character. So yeah. I think the writers saw me more as a ghost.
I'm excited to hear more about that as it like develops.
Yes.
Yeah. Exciting.
Yeah. Hopefully we get to film here in the next, 6 months, maybe. They're still writing it, still hammering out line by line.
So. Yeah, writing is That's tough because you, especially in a series, you kind of have to think through the whole bandwidth of everything.
Oh, yes.
And then usually you have a team with that if you're in a, like, I don't know, greenlit series, so to speak. But
we have a team. Yeah. They've written an outline and they're hammering out the dialogue now. So
okay, very good.
Yeah, it's been a process.
Well, you kind of already alluded to this, but
I know. Yes.
What is next for you beyond other than this? Maybe, I mean, I'm sure you're busy doing many things. I kind of see you doing so.
Right. Yeah, that is probably my biggest project that we're going to be focusing on. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't mind trying out other markets, though. At this point, there's not a lot of acting in Minneapolis. And so I'm hoping, I'm crossing my fingers for those of you who can't see, that we do get more film in Minnesota because of the tax incentives.
Yes.
That would be fantastic. Yeah. But otherwise, I feel like I'm going to have to, now that my kids aren't, banging down the door anymore, then I might have to try that out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Understandably. So Lori, where can people find your work and how can they contact you if they want to work with you?
Yes. Well, first of all, I have a fancy dancy website.
Ooh.
I know. That took a while. That's a project all on its own. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Right. Collecting all your material is probably the most dreaded job we have as actors.
That's a job in itself.
It is. It's a full-time job.
Yeah.
So I have a website. It's www.loriroovers.com. It's not, anything fantastic. It's just my name, but you can see all of my stuff on there. And I believe I have contact information as well as my agent's contact information on there.
Nice.
Yeah. And oh goodness, I have the chairman just moved from Amazon Prime to YouTube. I think Amazon Prime kicked all their little short films off.
Yeah, recently. Amazon, that's the way they operate. They're like, yeah. We made our money, now you're not making us money, move off,
Yeah. But awful. It was on there for years though, for 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it was on there for a long time.
And that's now significant.
It's on YouTube. It is.
Yeah.
It is. It's a good film still. That would be a really good feature film, I think. Misplaced Trust by Cynthia Urick is still making its way around the circuit.
I want to see it. I'm like, where do I see it?
Yep.
It's still going around the film festival circuit.
Which is awesome.
Yes. By the way, if you go to YouTube and want to see the chairman, you have to put in the chairman Frank White because he's the one that wrote and directed it. Otherwise, you get a bunch of different things. Oh my goodness, I have a small story for that, but another day.
Oh,
next time.
Yes. Yeah, Misplaced Trust. Hopefully, that will be on a streaming network because people keep asking me that. I think I have been cast as sort of the innocent person who you don't realize has secrets a lot lately.
That's got to be fun to play, though.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah. That one in particular was a super fun script. Cynthia Urick.
Amazing.
Yeah. Chased and Ballad of Travis Hunter.
Oh, yeah.
When are we going to see that? I don't know. I don't know. They've been just hanging on, that tooth that you couldn't get rid of. It was just hanging on by some skin. Yeah, It's that's how I feel about Chased.
Yes. I remember hearing originally about it and then I was like, oh, did it go away? And then it was back and then now it's like kind of teasing things, and it's like, oh, okay, soon, maybe.
Yeah, I think so. I think
Yeah.
so. I was hoping to see it in the Twin Cities Film Fest this last round, and
Right.
that wasn't ready yet. And Ballad of Travis Hunter has a lot of Hollywood people in it. Eric Roberts and Lisa Ciara's in it, and quite a few other people too. So
Sure.
that should be fun.
Wow.
And then I have to plug Searchlight. It's going to be a darling, I think.
Right.
Owen Royce wrote that a long time ago, and it's a real story. It's a real story. It was the first time I've actually played a character that is living. She's still alive. She's 87 years old and lives in California.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So it's a little scary, but that's the movie that's going to, I think, be really, really cool and really good. And there's not one out there like it right now, the story. And even though it's a true story.
Right. Well,
that's exciting.
That sounds exciting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't wait until all these are available to watch.
I know.
So, Lori, last question. What do you want people to remember most about you?
Oh my goodness. I really, the only thing I try to do when I come in contact with people is make them feel good about themselves. I hope that they leave my presence feeling just a little bit better about who they are. Hopefully I give them that attention and see the magnificent things that are inside them, and call them out and tell them how much that means to me. Leaving them feel just a little bit better.
I love that. That's really sweet. That just made me feel better.
Oh, good.
And just hearing it. So, Lori, thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with us, talk to us, answer all of our crazy questions. It's been awesome getting to know you.
Thank you so much. You guys are so great. You know I love you.
You are the best. Yeah. We will absolutely have to have you on again.
Thank you, Lori.
Thank you so much.
And until next time, thank you, listeners. We will see you later. This is Film in Minnesota.